here. Just quick recording on the layers, mask, and the pattern apply inside of Photoshop for our billboard advertising for Mountain Dew. Hope you enjoyed the mystery flavor. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it'll be a lunchtime thing for me. So let's get into the two features we explored today inside of our ad design class. Now, the first thing we did was we went in and we did a cans cutout. So here's our cans cutout here, and here is the original cans image, which is this. And so I'm going to go in again. I'm going to turn off my other cans just so that you can see the effect that was created. And let me turn off my overlay just so we can get back to where we were. So here is my cans. Let me make sure I don't have any other overlays on this because I have been tinkering around a little bit with it on my office computer. So let's just make sure. So we'll turn that off. I have a shape mask in there. So, all right, so we're gonna go in and we're gonna select subject, right? Just get a basic cutout of our cans. We're going to do Command C, Command V, which is copy and paste. So we did cans transparent in our lecture, and then we made two copies of it. So the first one we named as cans highlight, and then we made another copy of it, and we made it cans low light, just to start talking about creating a light source. And so we went into our cans highlight, we hid our cans low light, we hid our cans transparent, and we went in and adjusted our settings to hard light. So you can see that it makes the cans super bright. And once we had our can layer set to hard light, we added a layer mask. So we're going to click layer mask, and it creates this little white rectangular swatch. And now, once we have a layer mask, we can basically tell this layer, how do you want to adjust the pixels inside of this particular layer? And we saw the way that you could create a gradient blend. So I'm going to take my mouse and drag it, and you're going to see that. So see how it's bright on the bottom and light on the top. The white is what stays, the black is what is removed. And you can actually see over here that it shows the white is the pixels of the hard light that stay, and the black is the pixels that gets removed over here. And it feathers from hard light to no light. Now, if your gradient, so here's your gradient here, right? If your gradient is set to this direction, let's pick this direction or switch it back to this direction. And now you see it's highlighted here and it's not low lighted at all. And so we can now adjust how much brightness there is. So see how if I drag it, if I pinch it back in, see how it's light there, but when I move it, it turns to dark. So I'm going to highlight just the top of the cans. So now so I'll switch back to my move tool. So now just the top of the cans are highlighted with a little bit to the left edge of this one. So now let's turn on the low light. And let's do the same thing. Let's add a layer mask. Let's use the gradient tool. And let's make I did it extreme in class. So I went with a color burn. So you can see how really dark it is down here, right? But right now, the whole can is dark, right? So let's make sure that the layer mask is selected, low light, and let's drag it. And now you can see how I can change the light source inside of my layer and make it as drastic or dramatic as I want. So I'm gonna kind of make it like this, where the bottom of the cans are dark. So now you can see bottom of the cans dark, top of the can's light. So I've, in essence, affected the light source. Now, we also did the gradient layer mask where you could, in essence, blend an image out from the center. So let's go into Mountain Dew. I'm going to take my green burst and open it up in Photoshop. So here's my green burst, and I'm going to do Command A, Command C. I'm going to go into my billboard design, and I'm going to find the skateboard dude. Where's the skateboard dude? Skateboard dude, not skateboard dude. Nope, mountains. This is why you name your layers. Skateboard dude? Ah, there he is. So underneath skateboard dude, I'm going to Command V or paste the burst. So here's my move tool. There is my burst. Now with the burst selected, I'm going to do a layer mask again. Make sure that's picked. But instead of blending it left to right, I'm going to use the gradient tool and do the radial. And I'm going to drag it from the center out. And so now you can see the green burst is only in the center, but there's no edges to it. And just for the sake of the process, I'm going to blow it up a little bit so you can see it. It's texture that I'm using, so there it is. So there's the green burst. Now, we also did, so I'm going to do Open Recent, Green Burst. The last part of the steps we did the layer mask with the gradient tool, blending images to create light source and also control the blending of background objects. We did add patterns, so we clicked on the pattern tab with the green burst opened as its own document, and we hit the plus symbol, and I'm just going to make it Green Burst 2 so you can see Green Burst 2, and there it is right there in our patterns. We went into our skateboarder, we double clicked on the layer style, and the layer style is where you do a drop shadow. We could do a stroke around him if we wanted. So watch me crank this up a little bit. There's the stroke around him, but I'm also going to add a pattern overlay, and a pattern overlay would look like this when we pick Green Burst 2. So there it is. So look at this. There's the green burst. Now, once it's a pattern overlay, we can blend it any way we want. So I tried lightened. Let's try overlay. Ooh, look at overlay. Makes him like toxic looking. I think we did lighten, so it looked like he was just kind of splattered a little bit in it. But I'm going to switch it to different things so you can see what it looks like. Oh, look at that. Makes him slimy. You could do all kinds of really fun things with the overlay. Look at the pin light. I mean, that looks like it would be something from a Mountain Dew can. We can also lighten the opacity so that it isn't so drastic. So there he is right there at like 70%. Any image that is a texture can be. So let's grab so this is interesting, just for the sake of the process. Let's grab the extreme sport guy. And I'm going to make him a pattern. And now watch what I do with the can cutout, just so that you can see. So here's can's transparent. So that's the can's all by itself. Let's do a pattern overlay. And we'll do normal first so you can see it. And let's pick the extreme sport guy. So there he is. 100%. There he is on the can. Look how crazy that is. Let's change it to multiply. You can put him in there. Let's try overlay. See what it looks like. Ooh. So you could subliminally put some really interesting things inside of, look at multiply. I love that. So you can see the guy back there. And then if I crank it down a little bit, he's there, but he's barely there. Let's crank it up. I love playing around with, oh, look at that. So anything can be a pattern overlay. All right, gang, on Friday, we're going to be doing your billboards, and we're going to make an attempt at adding a pattern overlay to one of your objects, some kind of texture, and cutting out an object and changing the light source, making it a hard light source. All right, gang, have a good Wednesday.